Okay, looks like we're up and running. Hopefully you guys can hear us okay, and hopefully this show goes better than the ones from last night. Did you guys remember? Were you all here for last night? We had a little bit of an issue. That's got to stop right now. Right now.
I got this.
So last night we tried to go up.
We are praying for a smooth show tonight. We are cheersing to what will already be a great show.
It's going to be a good show.
We're going to remain optimistic.
Yes, we are.
Hopeful always. And we have an amazing guest tonight. So cheers to our special guest.
Fantastic guest.
Up.
Fantastic guest tonight.
You kind of look like him.
Well, I may be dressed for him, so who knows?
He wears plaid a lot.
Now, let's not get the cart before the horse. And yes, you should obviously be wearing a microphone. You may have noticed that there was no music.
My beard was more important tonight.
You may have noticed there was no music intro into this show tonight. And look what's happening right there.
Oh, my goodness. No.
So, it does appear as if this may be a YouTube-only show. YouTube-only show.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Facebook gremlin strike again. So, but that's okay because we're strong. As a people, we are strong. Facebook friends, we have no idea why this is happening. But there you have it. There you have it. So no music tonight, so they can't use that as a reason why. It looks like we have been absolutely throttled, shut down by Facebook. But guess what? We're still streaming on YouTube, hopefully. So we'll bring up our YouTube friends here in just a couple of moments. Thank you for being with us. We will give another attempt on Facebook. We don't know exactly what's been happening. But at the same time, we also don't want to ignore our friends over on the YouTube channel. Last night, Facebook said they blocked us because we played music that was copyrighted. Same music, by the way, that we have been playing for almost 2 years. A year and a half going on 2 years. Same music. They never had a single issue before. Hello to my YouTube friends. This looks like it's going to be a YouTube-only show tonight. We may try to rejoin Facebook, but again, last night we had major issues with Facebook. First time, they shut us down for the intro tune that we've been playing for 2 years, never done it before. And so then we did away with that, and what we did was we put in the Star Spangled Banner from the YouTube list, royalty-free music, license-free music. And Facebook shut us down again. So here we are talking to our YouTube crowd here, and I want to thank you guys for being here. I don't have any earthly idea what's happening over on the world of Facebook, but we appreciate you guys being on here. And at 9:15, we're going to have a special guest tonight. So if you're watching,
can we not try to get back on Facebook?
We are going to try,
okay.
But I also want to make sure that we've primed the pipe and we got people steered in the right direction. I'm going to push people to YouTube, okay? Facebook is obviously not our friend right now. So I'm going to push people to our YouTube channel, and in fact, I'm going to use, let's see, Matt sent us something earlier, and I'm going to forward this back over, catch us here. All right. Okay, so that's going on, and we're going to try to fire back up the old Facebook. And I'm really struggling with this because, man, you know, we worked on this for a long time, and this is going to be a good talking point when we get Matt on here a little bit later on. What in the world is happening to our social medias? And he would be a good guy to talk to about this because... and okay, here's the block. I want to hear why Facebook says that we're being blocked. There you go. It says your video matches 1 minute and 19 seconds of video owned by Warner Music Group, which is exactly what we thought. This is complete and blatant BS. Tonight, for the first time, we didn't play any music at all because they've been hitting us with this. And so again tonight, hit us with a copyright for music?
We didn't play music.
Didn't play music, exactly. I don't know exactly how to fight this stuff. I mean, Facebook has the power to shut you down apparently for anything at all. This is going to get me pretty fired up. I am fired up. And I don't know what else to do. I mean,
all right, well, can we come on close down and try again?
We already did close down.
Oh, we're on YouTube.
We're just streaming on YouTube.
Hi, YouTube.
Look, we got
friends.
16 on YouTube. Thank you for being here. Let's see who's here. We've got Cheryl, Dee Dee. I've got Helen. I've got Jim Perry. We've got Janice. I don't know. Are our Facebook days over? Facebook is shutting us down, and we have no clue why. I did a test stream earlier to my test page, which I never use.
Yeah.
And it was flagged. Hit. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm not doing anything different than we normally do. And I wonder how much of this has to do with the trouble that Mark Zuckerberg is in. I wonder. You guys been watching that? He was hit last week with a lawsuit, antitrust lawsuit by 48 individual states of the United States. 48. And anyway, that happened. And then yesterday we caught news that apparently the Armistead Project is going after him, reporting that Zuckerberg has been caught spending at least $500 million towards the Democratic Party. They said paying off, I mean, this is just poignant accusations. Paying off judges, setting up illegal ballot boxes, paying observers and poll workers to keep Republican observers out. All of this hit yesterday. I'm sure I was flagged a long time ago as being a conservative voice. And here I am leaning into YouTube to see if we can stay on here. But I don't know how this is going to go. I do hope we get to interview our friend Matt. I'm going to try to get us back up on YouTube. But again, I'm going to share you this. I'll share you this in real time. Take a look what they said on Facebook just now. We didn't play music. Watch. If you watch the beginning of this show, first time ever, we didn't play music. So here we go. All right, take a look at this. This just hit. We didn't play music. Uh-oh. So here we go. Yep. Hold on. Pardon me for just a second. We're playing something somewhere that's on the YouTube channel. I got to turn the volume off. All right, let's go back over there. Take a look at this. They just hit us with this. You guys were watching. You're our witness, right? So they just hit us with this. Where'd you go? Come back. And again, I didn't play music. There it is. Y'all see that? It says, according to this, and I wonder how many people this is happening to. Yeah, look. It says Warner Music Group Rights Management has taken action on your video from page Jeremy Capel because it may contain music, audio, or video that belongs to them. Well, they've been claiming everything I've put out over the last 24 hours. I cannot get a video to stay up for the life of me. And we even took the efforts of removing music. All right, with that being said, we do have a group on here from YouTube. I do look to try and Matt Christiansen is going to be joining us on this YouTube feed. So we look forward to having him at 9:15. If you're new to the YouTube feed, I appreciate you guys being here. If you don't mind, a quick like or share. Yeah, so I'm at a loss. I'm really kind of out of a rhythm because we're used to doing this Facebook program. We have for a few years now. Mm-hmm. Even prior to the calamity of last year, I've been up with these live Facebook videos for a few years. So this is probably 4 or 5 years or so doing these Facebook videos. And all of a sudden now, for whatever reason, we're getting these bogus claims and we're being blocked. I have no idea why. Something tells me, again, there's stuff way above my pay grade that's occurring here. Do you guys have any experience with this? Jim Perry, one of our administrators, said he got noticed. Do you want to try to go back up?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to try.
Try again.
I know. Well, we'll see.
Can't give up.
Sometimes, though, I just wonder. Sometimes you just kind of feel like
it's very frustrating. It's not right.
Okay.
But we will try again.
Here we go.
Remember, third time was a charm last night.
Maybe it's because I said, let's pray. You know what I'm saying? You know, because let's see. I tell you what, there's a lot of other information on this particular feed. I'm gonna get rid of it. And I don't know why they'd care, but we did put on there Matt Christiansen's information. I don't know why they would have a problem with that, but let's jump onto it.
Facebook's world. We're just
All right.
living in it, apparently.
We're going back to Facebook. We've got a small crowd gathering on YouTube. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming to YouTube and being patient.
It feels like maybe we should have been more proactive with this before.
I felt like we were.
I'm talking about YouTube. Now we've got 26 people on. Thank you for being here, Kevin. I've got Bali. We've got Ro Gultieri. Couldn't get this on Facebook, and you won't. They just took us down again, Ro. This is the fourth time in the last 2 days I've tried to put something up on Facebook, and they've taken me down. And I have a feeling I'm not the only person that this is happening to. I have a feeling that there's a lot of conservative-minded people that are having their rights stripped away right now. But I don't know what else to do. Let's go ahead and let's see. I'm on my Facebook page. Let's see if we are up.
Okay, second attempt.
Second attempt. And it looks like we're bringing some people in the door right now. Again, if you're watching this on Facebook, come on in the door. Facebook has been shutting us down. Usually within a minute or two of us getting up, Facebook, for no good reason.
Barbara's like, what the hell did you guys do? We played some music.
See?
The same music we've been playing for the last 2 years.
So guys, pray that we stay up. If we come down again,
boy.
we will be up for a third time.
We'll try again. This is what happened last night for no apparent reason.
Keep your shares going. And here, this is really going to tweak Facebook when I do this.
Oh boy, what are you going to do now?
I'm going to give them a link to the YouTube page that we're going to continue to
you're
stream
really
from.
trying to make them mad.
Guys, come on over to this YouTube stream. Do it now. Facebook does not like Lisa and I.
No.
In fact, Facebook does not like our entire family. I don't know what's going on, but I'm pretty sure they're out to get us.
It is apparent.
Share.
Your sister's on here saying stay strong and keep going. Thank you, Jess.
Guys, share that YouTube link. Share it like wildfire. I want you all coming over to YouTube tonight. We've got a special guest, huge YouTuber, streamer, vlogger, overall good dude, Matt Christiansen, will be joining us tonight. And get the cowbell ready. We're going to hit 200. Facebook, you can't stop this from happening. Hit 200. Go.
Come on, Facebook.
Go. Keep the shares coming.
I'm ready for my cowbell. I'm ready for a great show.
I'm going to put everything else aside. Yep. And let's cheers.
Robin, that's right. Just pray hard that they will find her guilty. Oh, well.
Here we go. 196. We're close enough. Give me a cheers. There we go. 202. Give me a cheers. Keep the shares coming. We're going to beat the Facebook algorithm. Beat back the Facebook algorithm.
All right, great. Rose on both YouTube and Facebook. You know, you can never be too safe.
Ro, you're the best, and we appreciate
you.
you. Our YouTube crowd has grown to about 42.
Awesome.
It's small. It's modest, but I have no doubt at 9:15. Once we get joined by Matt Christiansen, that number's going to grow big time. On Facebook, thank you for being here. Keep the likes and shares coming. Guys, if it goes away, we will try a third time. It took us 3 times to get up a stable feed last night. Again, we are being attacked by Facebook. I don't know why. Probably because we're conservative. Maybe it's because we're people of faith. But we are being absolutely attacked by Facebook. So keep the shares going. Maybe we can beat it back, and we will jump into some topics in a moment. I just want to see if this stream has stabilized. It's been usually about a minute and a half, 2 minutes or so into the stream.
Have we gotten to a minute and a half yet?
We're close. We've got 210 people live. Thank you very much. Let's see who's on the program. Who do we have?
Amy, we are on Rumble. We are preparing for, what do they say? Hope for the best, expect the worst. Thank you, Darren. We appreciate it. We also have David Gully on, Melissa and Judith Merkel. She has shared. Yes, thank you guys around here, especially for the holidays.
And then those are the social links where you can find us at on Twitter, Instagram. I would usually push her AKA, but maybe we push towards her Twitter account right now. That's Lisa Capel. We're on YouTube streaming now, as we just showed you. Again, in case something happens. Again, there's the YouTube account to go to. and we will have our special guest coming up here in about 10 minutes. Find us on Parler, and also we are on Rumble. Now, honey, go ahead and show them what you were going to show.
All right. Just so you all, I know you all already know this, but sharing is caring around here.
Yes.
So if you feel compelled, share away. Thank you. We love you guys. I heard you all got snow back home.
We got big time snow.
Big time snow back home.
Huge, and I had hoped to spend a little more time sharing about that snowstorm, but I can show you this right now. That storm is departing the region. You can see it's out to sea. It's over the North Atlantic right now, and really you're not seeing anything more than some backside snow showers across portions of the Ohio River Valley. Some of this will make its way across portions of western New York tonight. Little to no additional accumulations, maybe a dusting. Temperatures are good and cold, and I do want to get to your Christmas outlook. I'm gonna get to that Christmas outlook right after your 7-day coming up here in a moment. So it's going to go like this. We're kind of giving you what's happening now. I'm going to give you a Rochester-specific forecast here in a moment, and then we're going to take a look at what's coming down the pipe for everybody. I think this Christmas is going to bring some pretty bizarre weather. I say bizarre. I think it's going to be...
Is it going to be a white Christmas?
I'm calling for a displacement of the polar vortex. And yes, it's happening.
So, is that a yes or a no?
I'm saying it's going to be frigid cold. I think if you live in Rochester and western New York, I think this is not quite a slam dunk, but 90% plus for a white Christmas in Rochester and western New York. Mark my words, friends, western New Yorkers. 90% plus for a white Christmas this year. I will show you why. And for our friends across Kentuckiana, I think you've got a shot. I think you've got a shot.
Stop it.
I do.
Now that is exciting. We don't usually, it's very iffy around here.
It is. So let's go ahead and jump into this. And again, we'll have our special guest on here in just a couple of moments. That's Matt Christiansen from Matt Christiansen Media. We've talked a lot about this gentleman in recent days and weeks, knowing that he was going to be on the show tonight. And again, I'm happy to see it looks like for now, the Facebook stream has stabilized. Ooh. If you guys are on here, one way to help keep this on and keep us from crashing again is if you share it. If you share it, it works against the algorithm that tries to take us down. I know that much is true.
Okay.
So please, keep the shares going. Lisa and I both are being attacked right now by whoever's pulling the puppet strings behind Facebook. But if you guys keep sharing...
And from what I understand, Zuckerberg in some trouble today?
Zuckerberg is in some big-time trouble, it sounds like. But then again, when you are as wealthy as that man is, you can get away with whatever you want. And if that means squashing a tiny little, streaming podcast like this, so what? He can do that by the 1,000. It won't affect him. It'll affect us. It won't affect him. All right, let's jump on into this. You're looking at a futurecast, and that is showing you a monster displacement of the polar vortex here about 1 week from now. This is going to come in sometime Christmas Eve. Sometime around Christmas Eve, we're going to see this giant wave. And last night's run of the European model would suggest snow for the Ohio Valley, big-time snow all the way across much of the Northeast. This would occur Christmas Eve night as Santa's making his rounds in Christmas Day.
Oh, wow.
And that would be followed by some bitter, bitter Arctic cold. So here's your forecast breakdown brought to you by our friends over at Northern Comfort Heating and Cooling. Be sure to say hi to Carl and Peggy Priest if you see them on here, as they oftentimes visit. The low tonight, 20 degrees, just a few snow showers. We'll call it festive flakes tonight. And then tomorrow's high temperature, warming up a little better than today. The wind will be lighter. And honestly, not a bad looking Friday forecast brought to you by Equitech Interactive or Equitech.com. So if you are planning a website and you need some help from some real professionals, also app development as well, look these guys up. That's Ed Hanchett and David Madison of Equitech Interactive and Equitech.com. Cold day tomorrow. Here's your extended, mostly cloudy, a few flurries as mentioned overnight tonight. And then into the day tomorrow, we'll watch those temperatures steady, right around freezing, still very cold. But no additional precipitation expected tomorrow, and Saturday looks cold, dry, 40. I should say cool and dry. That's actually above the climatological norm for this time of the year. And then you head on into the day on Sunday, a little mixture of rain and snow showers, that temperature coming in at around 39 degrees. So Sunday, not a big deal. Even if we do get a little snow, it's not going to stick. Here's your extended forecast. And I'm going to go ahead and while this is up, go ahead and get that invite out to Matt. We're running a little late because we're throttled in an unprecedented way. And nobody really knows what that feels like. How many of you guys have been just taken down by Facebook? Who else has experienced this?
I would love to know. We should put a poll up. I mean,
how many
know
people?
That we are not the only ones by any means. There should be a support group.
There should be.
For those that are experiencing this. I don't think we are alone.
I don't think so either.
All right.
All right, so...
We do have a lot of great friends on tonight. I'm so excited. I'm about to do the gong. Should we ding the gong?
All
I know
right.
Professor Jim's in.
Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and send this out and
All
gong.
right.
So Matt should be joining us here in just a couple of moments. We've got about 194 people live in the program. All right,
Why
here's
not,
your forecast.
Right? Gong.
She loves her toys.
This is for us.
She loves her toys.
We're not giving up. And you guys.
The gong show, if you will.
And Matt Christiansen.
All right, so finish up your forecast. I want to take one broad look at what's going to be happening region-wide as we head on into Christmas. So here's your Rochester-specific forecast. Okay, so briefly, we have a snow chance on Tuesday. It looks like snow showers coming off of the lake. Not a big deal. Okay, not a huge deal, I should say.
Okay.
And then Wednesday's your mild day. If you're traveling Wednesday, honestly, that's the day. Doesn't look like a big deal for most of the region. I think you're in pretty good shape. And then we get on in here to Christmas Eve. Breezy, blustery, snow showers, temperature of 28 degrees, and it will get colder for Christmas Day. So let me show you that, and then we'll bring on our guest, Matt Christiansen, of Matt Christiansen Media. And he's a big-time YouTuber. Am I allowed to say that on Facebook? Or am I going to get in trouble again?
Oh, please. You need to be very careful with your wording tonight.
Apparently. So I'm going to have you all come on over and you can join me. And I'm looking at what's happening on a regional basis across the U.S. for late next week. I know there's a lot of interest in this time frame, so that's the reason I'm going to bring this up. I'm also going to bring up our best weather model for this as well. So here you go. Take a look. And this kind of shows you, it doesn't show you the 40-plus inches of snow that fell yesterday, by the way. But it does show you, oh, here it is. It does show you the current pattern that's in place right now. Let's move ahead in time. And these are surface temperatures. What I want to show you are these anomalies. These are temperature anomalies, short distance above the surface. Anything in a warm color suggests that anomalies are actually positive or above average in nature, and they remain that way through the 22nd. Small cool down around Tuesday. We said we have snow showers, but here it is. Take a look at that. Look, you see those purple colors on, purple and pink.
Pretty.
That is a displacement of the polar vortex. Now let me show you what it looks like underneath that.
Okay.
Because underneath that is what appears to be a very vibrant storm system.
Ooh.
That would be enough to whiten the grounds across Indiana and Kentucky, and that would be a pummeling for western New York. Now, I'll say this. That was the last run. This run, not as aggressive with the snow, but it's more aggressive with the cold. That would be snow showers for Ohio Valley and some pretty serious lake effect snow showers Christmas Eve into Christmas Day.
Okay.
And with that, I think that we would see accumulation. So my bet is that we do see accumulations of snow for western New York. For Christmas Day, I think it's about 90% likelihood of a white Christmas. For Ohio Valley, climatologically speaking, in order for you to have 1 inch of snow on the ground Christmas Day, climatologically for southern Indiana, northern Kentucky, about 1 in 10.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll give you 1 in 5 with this pattern.
Okay.
All right, 1 in 5. So maybe not officially. All right, with that being said, let's see if Matt is online yet. He's not, so we will hold. And I want to see who we have on the program while we are...
Get excited, everyone. Get your beverage. Tonight I have chosen a beer. I am super pumped about our guest tonight. He came out very recently. It was very recent.
Within a couple of weeks after the calamity.
Yes. And he put up this stellar podcast.
The vlog. It's considered a vlog.
Excuse me. And he was in support of...
Oh, he hit a home run with it. And,
of the whole situation. He got it. Most people did. And he's amazing. And we're so excited to have him on.
Yep. So with that being said, we've got about 190 people live on the Facebook program. Let's see who we have on YouTube right now. And thank you very much for being here.
Hello, YouTube
Our friendly
friends.
YouTubers here.
Yes.
We appreciate you guys. And then let's see who we have. On the YouTube, we've got Stoner4311. Says, I love Matt. Big Matt Christiansen fan tonight.
Oh, gosh.
Matt just said, I don't have a link. I see him on here. Matt, I sent you a link from my primary email like 5 minutes ago. If it has not arrived, check again because I just resent you that link. And it's over from my Gmail. Sometimes my primary email, unfortunately, it can be slow. And we had some issues tonight. I can't wait to talk to you about it in a couple of minutes.
I'd love to hear what Matt has to say.
Concerning the state of social media. Oh, gosh.
Joys.
Oh, I know.
It's a love-hate relationship.
Yes, it is. So, all right, with that being said, let's see. Who else do we have with the program? And I'm going to check to see if Matt's going to stand by here in just a moment.
Okay. We also have Wendy Schleiler on.
Hi, Wendy.
I agree, Wendy. It's heartbreaking. And I do think that mean people generally... It goes to show you that they are hurting. So, hurt people hurt others. So I think that helps me and pray for them.
Right.
We certainly have had our share of mean people, as I know that a lot of people have, especially this time of year, because we're very sensitive year. We also have Dolly on here. She says you two are doing great. Keep up the great work. And thank you, Dolly. Oh.
And hold on, we're going to come on over to Matt in just a moment. We don't have your audio up yet, Matt. Give me a moment. We're going to bring you on directly into the program. So good to see you live, but give me a second.
Kim, we are currently in southern Indiana with our family for the holidays, but we will be back in New York after the New Year.
Very good. All right, with that being said, without further ado, is it ado? I don't know. It sounds like a fancy French word or something. I bet you Matt would know what ado is. Without further ado... Matt Christiansen, everybody. Hey, buddy, can you hear me?
I can. Thanks for having me. Linguistics is not my expertise,
That's
so
okay.
I can't offer insight on that. But it's a pleasure to meet you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, sure.
And in ridiculous times, your story still stands out as one of the most ridiculous I can remember. So,
well, first and foremost, I know I've thanked you through messaging, but. Thank you for taking the time to actually, I mean, the way you spelled it out was so logical. Yes. I don't even think anybody they could be all the way in the left if they want to be. They got to see the humor and the logic and what you put together. So thank you for that. With that being said, it's an honor to have you on the program tonight, Matt. And tonight of all nights, it's ironic we bring you on a night when social media is going crazy in the Capitol world.
Are you having this issue, Matt?
Matt's not. He's too cool for that. But let me know, Matt.
Well, why? What's going crazy with you guys? I guess maybe I missed something.
Okay, well, first of all, Matt Christiansen, everybody. And if you don't know him, get to know him. On the YouTube, I put all the links on there. I put all your links on Facebook, and they shut us down. And I don't know if it has anything to do with you.
Really?
Well, they started shutting us down last night. First time.
They stopped your stream or what?
Yeah, twice last night. It had nothing to do with you, so I don't want you to take this personally.
I don't stream on Facebook, so I have no idea. But I wonder what did it.
Well, it accused me of using copyrighted music, which is interesting because I've been using the same music since we launched this program formally February of 2019, following my firing. And I had never had any problems with that music whatsoever at all. So they blocked it, took it down, and then we decided that we bring it right back up and because it said it was for music reasons, we decided to pull out the Star Spangled Banner. Right?
Okay.
The national anthem?
Banned for that, for sure.
Hey,
that's unacceptable.
You know why we were banned for that.
And it went,
Yeah, you say no more.
It did, and it went straight down. It went straight down. And finally, the third time, we got up and running, and it was okay. It was kosher. I have no idea why third time was a charm, but it did. And so today I spent the day running tests on one of my test pages. And anyway, here we are, Matt. We're just honored to have you, but you know the state of social media. You've been doing this stuff for a while. I look back at your vlogging and your streaming career. You started off as a gamer. Is that right?
Yeah, you must have gone really far back if you did the whole history that
I did.
route. Yeah, I mean, I started. I got on YouTube because I used to play a lot of Call of Duty, way too much. In fact, it was a big vice.
Yep.
And I would play a lot with my friends and family. And if you've ever played online video games, you know the sort of reactions that people have in online video games. At least used to before they cracked down on all this stuff.
Sure.
And so I got on YouTube because I just the interactions we would have with people would be so funny. So like, well, I gotta record some of this stuff and just post it. It was pure hobby, and I sort of grew out of that eventually and saw the world going a little crazy and started talking about it. And that is kind of the story of how my channel accidentally came to be. And cool. I've been doing it full time for about 4 years now, but I've been on YouTube since late 2012, or no, early 2012, late 2011.
So it was kind of and I'm going to have to, and I've told our son, he's 13 and he's really into gaming. I was like, look,
yeah.
I've got this famous gamer on, but he's not really a gamer now.
Yeah, formerly maybe.
And he's like, well, what did he want to know what you did wrong? I'm like, no, he didn't do anything wrong. He transitioned and he went above gaming. That's what I try to explain to him.
Yes,
you try to explain that to a 13-year-old.
Son.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Matt, you have to forgive me because I accused you from being from Texas a week or two ago.
Yes, you did.
That's not a bad thing.
I was going to say, I didn't think you'd be offended by that.
My wife desperately wants to move there, actually, and I refuse. I'm not moving in the southern part of. Well, I mean,
too much
at
heat?
This point, I would. Oh, that is attractive, actually. I would move about anywhere for the promise of being left alone. So I'll never say never. But she'd really like to live down there. Yeah, we live in Bozeman, Montana. I've been in Montana for quite some time. My family is originally from Twin Cities, Minnesota, and then we moved out here when I was younger. And then I did my college and early career tour on the West Coast in Portland and the San Francisco Bay Area. And I had to leave Montana to appreciate Montana, and I'm glad I did because now I never want to leave. I love it here. Unfortunately, the things that are great about living here is what is attracting the people who ruined a lot of other states to come here and do their best to ruin it here too. So,
well,
I don't know. I don't want to leave, but they might make me. You know?
I think I was going to ask you about that, Matt. And by the way, I love both what you do with your vlogs and also with Beauty in the Beta, which is an interesting concept. And so, Blonde, your co-host. I think you guys do a real great job of yin and yanging off of each other. She keeps it hip for you, by the way.
She is the spice to my milk, if you want to put it that way. You know?
Yes, absolutely.
We have different styles, and but we work well together, and it's been a good project for many years.
Now, you guys, your main program, Beauty in the Beta, it's Sunday nights, and then you guys do a call-in show on Wednesday nights, correct?
Yep.
And then you do about once or twice a week. It seems like you put out a very well put together vlog on a topic du jour. There we go again.
Yep. Usually Wednesdays and Tuesdays, and the streams are as you'd expect on a stream. It's less formal, more off the cuff. I mean, we're going through a series of topics, but it's interacting with our audience, and it's not scripted. When I'm doing the stuff on my own, I really want to be laser focused and get through information as quickly and as efficiently as possible. And that's how I encountered you guys. I remember seeing that story, and just the more I dug into it, the more absurd it became. And it was one of those stories where it's just so silly on its face, but I felt so bad for you guys too, because you have the employer totally just throwing an employee under the bus unfairly, but in that case you had city government getting involved. Like, what did city government have to do? They had nothing to do with any of that.
Well, it's interesting because I was following your story out of Portland. What is it? Ted Wheeling, is that his name?
Ted Wheeler, yeah.
Wheeler. And watching his reaction to the mob, BLM and Antifa, and so they got rid of the Chaz, is it? And then now they have a Raz, is that right?
Well, now that? I guess now they've taken it down.
Okay.
Since I posted on Saturday, the city has been in negotiation with the Razistanis, the autonomous zone inhabitants, militants basically. Some of them are actually armed and enforcing checkpoints. And at the center of this controversy is basically a family that failed to pay for their mortgage. And they've had 2 years to do this. They didn't do it. They went through a whole legal process. They got evicted, and the mob is defending them from eviction. And Ted Wheeler sent in the cops to try to bust this up and force the eviction. And then the mob beat back the cops, and then Ted Wheeler has now caved and apologized to the mob and to get them to destroy their own barricade. I mean, they were setting up war zone style barricades of debris blocking a major street in Portland, Mississippi Avenue. And not only were
it
they
looks
had
horrifying.
spike strips, nails in boards,
goodness.
People live on this street. You know, it's not just this family. So to get them to instead of sending in the troops to go take down that barricade and defend the rights of the people who live in that neighborhood, they caved to the mob. They said, we're sorry. And now the family has raised so much money on GoFundMe, they'll just buy the house back from the developer that bought it. And it's since come out, too, that family actually owns a second house immediately nearby. So it looks like this whole thing has been basically a money-raising scam. That's bad enough, but it has also victimized the people who live there, who have had to have their lives interrupted and basically held hostage by a violent mob.
It sounds like we're taking bad behavior and we're making it something to look up to. I mean, am I wrong on that?
And this is the stuff that just amazes me, because what's the premise of this entire story? It's a systemic racism narrative. It's a victimization narrative. We are the family is a victim in this scenario. Never mind that they didn't meet their obligations and they had many years to figure it out and they didn't. So they're pushing a victim narrative, in fact, to victimize everyone else who lives there. And not only are they not being victimized, they actually come out ahead. They get rewarded.
Right. It makes you wonder where all this is going. And
yeah,
we are going to, we'll talk maybe after the program or next time we get an opportunity to talk. We want you to do a follow-up on our story, because that mayor of Rochester, did you hear that she was convicted of, hold on, a campaign funds misappropriation, like to the tune of $100,000 or $200,000.
I did not. Are you guys still in Rochester, or did you leave?
No, well, we're kind of in both.
Yeah.
We haven't exactly established our podcast at the point where we're making really good money yet. In fact, we're not making much after coronavirus hit. We really took a hit. So we sold our home.
Sorry to hear that.
No, that's okay. Everybody's going through difficult times. Coronavirus and everything that 2020 has brought us. So what we've done is we've kind of diversified. We've got a friend that's putting us up in Western New York, and then we've got a family that's putting us up here in Indiana, where we're from. And so we've kind of been going back and forth. We streamed from both, and we're just trying to make a positive difference in some way. But the Rochester mayor, I'll send you some information. But she was not convicted, but indicted on election fraud. Campaign misuse of hundreds of thousands of dollars. And then the Daniel Prude case hit. Do you remember the Daniel Prude case?
This guy, as I recall, correct me if I'm wrong, it was very similar to George Floyd. This guy was running around naked on drugs or something like that. This was in March?
Yeah, whacked out of his mind on drugs in the middle of the night. Apparently he was in his brother's custody. And then
that's right.
Yeah, and then he fled his brother's house naked in the middle of the street. It's right after the pandemic hit. Yeah. The Rochester police arrive on the scene, and he's out of his mind. He's spitting at him, and he's saying that he's got COVID. And so they put one of those spit hoods on him.
Yeah.
And he's still flailing, and so they try to subdue him in some way. But at some point, he had I guess his heart gave out. And there's a lot of that didn't get out right away. It came out months later that he actually died on the scene. He was only revived after paramedics came, and this was in late March.
Yeah.
And then when this blows up into a national story, the mayor of Rochester, of course, the one that you did the story on, she did what she does, and she threw her chief of police under the bus and said it's his fault, and she knew nothing about it. When it turns out he just filed a lawsuit last week against her in the city of Rochester, she knew everything about it. And so it just goes on and on. But we see this, and I mentioned that to you in a message that, when you had agreed to be on, and I'd mentioned the Portland situation that you vlogged so eloquently on, that it seems like this is occurring in so many mid to major sized cities across the United States. So you're in Bozeman, Montana. We've been spending time in New York. I was thinking Montana would be a refreshing place to go to get away from it all, but you're telling me no.
Well, it really is, and it's a gigantic state. I think we're like the 4th largest geographically, so don't take my experience in this one particular portion of it to be an indicator of the state at large. And for better or worse, where I live in Gallatin County, this is one of the fastest growing cities and counties of its size in the country. So everybody who's coming in from California, from Seattle, all those cities, or all, just the West Coast generally, they're coming here. So that and it's kind of you never know. Like my wife's a California refugee, but she wanted to leave California for a reason.
Right.
What part of Cali is she from?
Well, or are you a person who wants to vote for all the same things that ruined California, and you're coming here to ruin it too? Unfortunately, the voting trends are headed the wrong way. So I don't know. We're not going to leave anytime soon, but I think about places like Wyoming. I think about South Dakota. Some of the neighbor states are looking awfully good, and cost of living in those places is so much lower too. Just the market reality of so many people moving in here. It's not as affordable as it used to be.
Sure, and I can understand that. And I heard you talking, it was on another podcast. Yes, I've been watching your stuff there, Matt. So, but you talked about, okay, look, where's all this going? And I wanted to ask you, and I know you've spoken to your audience about this, the craziness with the election, everything that we look around that's happening politically here in the United States of America. If it doesn't lead to a civil war, can we succeed from each other? Can we have a red population and a blue population?
Yeah. Well, it's. I don't want to get you guys banned. I
think you're too late, man. We've already gotten in trouble.
We're used to it.
No, you have to be careful about talking about this sort of thing, but it's you shouldn't have to be, because the reality is, I think the political reality is, you have. This rift that's been happening, I've been characterizing as Bill of Rights or nah for quite a while now. Just that is to say, do you believe in the fundamental values and the legal principles of the Bill of Rights or not?
Right.
And you can call that the Constitution more broadly. But in general, I think we've got a huge cultural gap there. You have people who believe that those are fundamentally good ideas that ought to be upheld, and people who think, no, those are racist, sexist, homophobic institutions of old white men of a bygone era or something like that. And if you don't agree on those foundational ideas, it's not easy or potentially even possible to share a country. And I don't say that with any desire to take a wrecking ball to anything. What it means is that if we don't have any commonality like that, if we don't have any shared values, maybe the best answer is that we have some sort of mutual split. I
agree.
I think that's the moral and the healthy way to handle this. There doesn't have to be any conflict, and it seems to me that if you have people who want to uphold the Constitution and another segment of the country that basically hates them and views them with disdain,
sure,
right.
Why wouldn't a mutual split be possible? And the only unfortunate thing about that is it just, from my perspective, the progressive left currently wants to and has to control everybody else. They won't let you live over there in that other corner of the country by yourself and be left alone. They have to control every aspect of your life. Right. And so that's the only reason why I don't think that a split that is mutually agreed to is possible or ever going to happen. It's just the need for control is too great.
Well, and that's the whole thing, is because they accuse our founders of having control problems. The white supremacists, we wanted to be colonialists, right? I say we. I'm talking about the founders of this great land, and We were supposed to be the colonialists, the expansionists, and here we are having this discussion. Look, you take this, you take 50%, we take the other 50%, we go our separate ways. But that's not America. In your opinion, looking back, and I don't know how versed you are in history, I don't believe we've been as divided as we are now since the Civil War. I know the Vietnam era was very rough, and it tore a lot of people apart and families apart. But can you imagine a place and time when you have an America that is as split as this right now?
It's hard for me to draw a comparison, and I think the number one place that we've gone wrong is just is the desire to have the federal government take over every aspect of life. That's the direction that we've headed. Because seriously speaking, as much as I like to joke about the Portlands of the world and the Californias of the world, if we could agree to leave each other alone and have a minimal federal government that exists basically for common defense, great. You guys you do all the stuff. You have all the state power in California that you want. That is fantastic. You vote for it. You make it happen. Good luck with that. And you leave us here in Montana alone, and we'll handle it the way that we see fit, and that's fine. But that's the trouble. Instead of saying, okay, we'll do in California what we want to see, we'll institute every progressive measure we can invent. Instead of agreeing to that, it's a struggle for the federal sword to say, no, our way has to be crammed down on everyone. We have to get power at the very top and impose it on everyone else. And that was never the design or the bargain of this country. And there's a good reason for it, because it was impractical at the time of our founding to think that New Yorkers were going to boss around Georgians, for example. Right. That was when our country had probably 10% of the population that we have now. Hundreds of millions of people. If you think that we're all going to get in line for, whether it's Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, or Donald Trump for that matter, it doesn't matter who it is. If you have a country of that many people that you're trying to run through centralized orders, it's just not going to happen. So I don't know.
So at the end of the day, and why don't you jump in here, hon? So you've got your blonde. I've got my blonde right here. This is my wife, Lisa, by the way.
Hey, man.
So nice to meet you, Lisa.
You too.
What do you think, hon? Where do you think this is going? Because it seems like to me, and I was born and raised in the church, and we were warned of a time in the future when right will become wrong, wrong will become right, and people will turn a blind eye to wrongdoing, and criminality will become rampant. Come on, and I don't know your beliefs on faith or religion, but I mean, does it sound kind of like what we're going through right now, there, Matt?
Well, I am not well versed in theology either, but it's interesting you bring that up, because this has been kind of an ongoing thing on our stream. I've always been kind of a religious, I guess an agnostic, or kind of I guess you could say non-believer, but not a fedora-typic militant atheist. You know what I mean? Just someone who's looking for that, I suppose. But I have trouble connecting the dots sometimes.
Sure.
But this year has been so interesting because I guess I just see that human beings have kind of a natural need to find faith and meaning in something.
Right.
And as traditional faith has declined in this country, it seems that faith is being put in all sorts of improper places, whether it is the experts, whether it is government overall, whether it is, I don't know, celebrities, Hollywood culture, whatever. Just kind of going down this philosophical path myself, I think a lot about these things, because to have any morality in my life whatsoever, I have to grant the idea that human life has inherent value. Otherwise, basically, everything falls apart.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if human life has value, if human life has purpose, where did that purpose come from? Who or what created that purpose? What is its origin? That's kind of where I'm at in this particular area of my life, and it's been accelerated. Like I've been trending toward more curiosity and interest in faith for a little while, but it's been accelerated this year just by watching people. Like I watched a video of a guy who went to the Trump rally in Georgia the other week.
Yep.
And he was on like bended knee begging people to wear masks. Now, I'm not here to like people have different opinions on masks. That's fine. But what he was doing was almost like mask evangelism.
Right.
And it was bizarre. And this is the sort of thing where it's like, man, if we have to find that in something, we're looking in the wrong places. We need to return to tradition here.
100%. 100%. When coronavirus becomes your God, I think we have a problem here. When government really becomes, and where we're sitting, it's government. When government becomes your God, you got a breakdown of morality, and it's systemic. Okay, when you've got large sections of your population that's looking to the government as if they are the highest level of humanity, when in fact, vast majority of them don't have a lot of humanity in them. Because proof is in the pudding. If they did, we'd be in a much better place than we are right now. And you wouldn't have criminals, and you wouldn't have thugs, and organizations running so many of the major cities across the United States. But
well, and Matt, do you think that this? I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we've become so complacent. Do you? Maybe looking for. And
you're talking about American influence. You're talking about overall, your overall American. I know that there are exceptions, but all else being equal, it's easier for you to sit on the couch and not worry about food and not worried about clothing and having a place to stay in this country than probably anywhere else in the world.
Yeah, or ever in history. That there are negative consequences to that. I think you're right. And I think one of the great illusions we maintain is that there's some power in control that will keep us all safe or is looking out for us. Life gets a lot better when you take control of it for yourself and you assume responsibility for yourself. But that's another value that appears to be consistently flushed down the toilet.
Imagine that responsibility, and I'm not going to keep you much longer because we had agreed upon time, and we're starting to cross.
Sure, I got time, so I'm not in a rush.
Okay, so well, thank you very much.
Stick around as long as you'd like.
Because I'm kind of even though I grew up in faith, I put so much of who I am in kind of philosophy. And definitely principle built. That's just and I'm very fortunate because I realize there's a lot of people that aren't built that way. And I feel very fortunate no matter what happens, I'm going to land on my feet and I'm going to make sure my family lands on their feet because I'm based on principles and faith and not whatever the political winds blow my way. But I know that there's a lot of people that don't have that. And I think of this idea of victimhood. And you look around, especially the U.S., I know it's a worldwide thing too, this victimhood chic where it's so popular to show just how much of a victim you are. But do you wonder if those that represent BLM, and I know that there's inherently there's a good, I think there was a good purpose at the beginning to make sure that blacks and minorities had the same opportunities as everybody, and I get that.
Sure.
But you look at the reaction and you look at their political nature, and it really is just this. It's like a contest for who can be the biggest victim, and that rubs me so far the wrong way. I believe I was brought up in my mother. She's right upstairs, by the way. Don't judge. Don't judge.
No, I got a lot of admiration for healthy, intact families these days. That's a good thing. Right. It's a good thing to have, man. The family's being tossed under the bus too. So
right, it is. Yeah. But she taught me, among all the things, hard work, responsibility, and faith. And responsibility, if you break it down, it's the ability to respond. If you take that away, you take away responsibility. That means that you don't have the ability to respond, which basically means you're powerless.
Exactly.
And is that the goal?
Cynically, you could believe that. That's certainly the effect, and that's what's so cruel about it. It's so tempting to buy into that victim narrative. Why? Because it excuses you of the responsibility that you're talking about. Oh, my life, the things I don't like about my life are someone else's fault. Therefore, someone else has an obligation to fix them for me. Right. I'm perfect just the way I am. I don't need to do anything. The cruelty of teaching someone that is, what is the effect? They never try. Right. They never put forth 100%. The effort to improve themselves or their lives, and thus they never really get full control of themselves and achieve the best possible version of themselves. And man, I would like to think that sort of victim narrative and mentality is built on good intentions, that the people pushing it do believe that it's true. But as you've noted, it's lacking a lot of principles, and it has the effect of making people dependent on you. It has the effect of accumulating power for those pushing that narrative. And I used to be, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. I used to be happy-go-lucky and believe in the good intentions of people, and I still try to. I think we have an obligation to assume good intentions until malice is proven. But man, this year more than any other is like, I don't believe anything put in front of my face.
Exactly right. And so when
I assume malice frequently, whether I should or not.
Right.
You're
and
not
so
alone.
when you have, and I've watched enough to know that you've been accused of being a conspiracy theorist. Am I correct, Matt?
Oh, of course.
I mean, it's like every time I question what the government's up to, or what certain politicians are demanding.
How dare you?
Every time I question it, you're a conspiracy theorist. You know what?
Yeah.
Why don't you just take it for what it is, okay? How do you feel about it? How do you deal with that? I mean, do we just run around with tinfoil hats all day and say, that's just the way it is, we're crazy? Or how do you react to that?
My go-to, I would say if anyone accuses me of those sorts of things, I would react the same way that I do with most things. I just apply the Socratic method, man. Just ask questions. Why do you believe what you believe? Right. And anytime someone asks me why I believe what I believe, I will either say, I don't know, I don't have a basis for this view, or I'll have thought about it and provide the reasons why. But if someone makes that sort of accusation, you ask, well, why do you believe that? And they have nothing but name calling or whatever else. Exactly. Maybe they won't. Oftentimes, I have found that if you just ask people questions in good faith and try not to attack back, you might not win in the moment. People are trying to dunk on you. They're trying to win the argument or whatever. But if you can just get those gears spinning a little bit in someone's head such that they think about it later.
Yep.
I've had all sorts of these conversations with friends, whether it's, the current coronavirus stuff or gun control or any sort of political issue. And rarely do people go in the moment, you know what, you're right.
Exactly. It's not like this is different though than Twitter though, where you're going to get instantly, you're going to be name called and you're going to be shamed and you're going to be labeled and whatever else. But at least in person, they're not, like you said, they're not going to necessarily. At least they're not going to. You
just got to get those gears spinning, and it happens it happens to me too. People change my mind all the time. It's a great feeling to get home after thinking about a conversation and realize. Oh, you know what? I don't really have a basis for that belief of mine. Why do I believe that?
Right.
And if you can't answer that question, it's probably a belief that you shouldn't hold. But yeah, it's I try to remember. It's tough these days because there's a lot of people trying to throw shade at you in that way. People trying to attack you. But I remember because if you go way back, even before my video game stuff or during that, I used to be one of the good Democrats. I used to be an Obama voter. I used to be one of these people. And then they turned their backs on free speech and other values important to me, and that got me questioning, well, what else are they wrong about? Here we are. Right. But the people who persuaded me a few years ago, we're talking like 2015, 2016, none of them beat me into submission. None of them said, you know what, you're an idiot and you need to believe this. Mm-hmm. All of them chipped away at me with good arguments and, in particular, humor. They made it fun. And so I try to remember that, as tempting as it is, because these people are trying to beat us into submission. I want to beat them into submission.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. If I can ask, and we don't want to drag this out much further because your time is precious, and we appreciate everything you've done to be on the program. Can I ask you, who was one of those maybe mentors or role models that you looked up to that maybe helped to change your mind?
Oh, there were all sorts of people, and actually, there are people not necessarily like there were people in my personal life. Mm-hmm. And actually, Blonde and I have kind of gone through this together. So she was big in that way. But a lot of people who changed my views were on YouTube, through YouTube. And they're people with whom I haven't actually interacted a bunch personally. But like back in 2016, the Steven Crowders of the world, the Dave Rubins of the world, Milo was really influential on me. It's just people, and they were so. All the stuff, all the events they were doing at the time, that was the approach that was so persuasive. It wasn't like, oh man, aren't leftists a bunch of idiots? Aren't they terrible people? It was like, well, here is a series of flaws in that reasoning, and also here's a series of great jokes that really hit the point home.
I love it.
and yeah, it's YouTube is great. I mean, YouTube has changed a lot of minds, mine included. That's why they want to get control of that.
Yeah,
right. But, and that's I was going to bring that up, but we don't have to dwell on it because right now I believe so much of this stuff that's happening on social media, it is sensitive. You have developed a wonderful platform, and I encourage each and every one of our followers to check him out. I've got all of your contacts, by the way, and all your social medias attached to this YouTube feed. I had it on my Facebook feed, just so you know, brother, but Facebook said no to that. I don't know why. Okay, but
they said no to linking to
no,
what,
they
my
didn't.
website?
They didn't, but they took me down right as soon as we started today, and I didn't play any music. We ran into that
just
yesterday.
The stream. Yeah, that's weird.
So I decided, I'm like, all right, what could it be that's triggering? I had a whole ton of links that were for you, so I took it down. But with that being said, and then last week, YouTube comes out and says, anybody that questions the integrity of the election.
Yeah.
And what are your thoughts on what YouTube is doing?
Well, YouTube, it appears that YouTube has been intent on, if not killing itself, turning its back on the reason people enjoy it for quite some time. Susan Wojcicki, the CEO, her entire tenure has been chipping away at everything that people love about YouTube. And if there's one thing that drives me nuts, it's people who don't understand why people like their product. And if you have a wildly successful product and the people running the company don't appear to understand why people enjoy it, that's just baffling. Problem. But YouTube is a classic case, and YouTube will continue chipping away. It's been steadily creeping for some time. First, it's just Alex Jones, and then it's you just can't say the name of the whistleblower last fall, and they try to do these little tiny things. Well, now you're talking about banning the perspective of something like a third to half of this country.
Yes.
You're talking about gigantic portions of the country, and you're talking about political viewpoints, which has to be at the center of anybody's view of what the concept of free speech should encompass. Like political viewpoints that's got to be covered. All right, this isn't like some weird fringe end of the concept of free speech. So YouTube will, I really think 2021 will probably be the year that this sort of content, like the sort of content that I do, and if you guys get political over here, maybe you do, and that end of YouTube it's probably going to go away either by force or by necessity, because a handful of big people get the axe and they move on to a new place. But and you know, I don't want to jump through those hurdles, but the reality is YouTube is successful because of the people that people want to watch on YouTube. It's not successful because of Susan Wojcicki or any of the people running the company. And Susan continues diverting traffic. In that blog post about this new rule, she bragged, we've diverted pretty much all political searches to ABC News, CBS, NBC. Well, good for you, but you have to understand the reason people cut their cable and the reason they come to YouTube is not to watch that content. They want to see someone who's a real person, you know, broadcasting out of their bedroom or whatever they're doing.
And we can bring this down for a close here, Matt, because, again, I appreciate your time. When I was in TV for 18, 19 years, that's one thing that I identified with, because you have these consultants that would come in and tell you how to do your job. Okay, and keep in mind, 90+% of the consultants are failed TV journalists. They failed in TV, and now they're going to work for a company that comes in and tells you how to do your job.
They should probably be in government work.
I agree. I agree. But my biggest complaint when they would come in and they would make some good points, you know, hey, make better eye contact with the camera, you know, project your voice, you know, wear nice clothes. That's what I agree. Okay, I got it. But when they tell me to put the emphasis on the product and not the person or the personality, I think there's a disconnect there. Because people connect with people, not products. Just my opinion.
I think you're right. And so YouTube, if Susan is so foolish as to believe she can axe all the content that people love there and think it's fine, like, you're a fool, lady. People will just find that content somewhere else. And I love that they're always surprised whenever they ban people on YouTube or any other social media and those people set up shop on some other platform. I can't believe that they now have a presence on this far-right Nazi platform over there. But it goes to show, you ban people, they still have an audience. People like consuming that material. They just go to where it's available. It's not. you can it's easy to foresee, but
100%.
act like that's a surprise. You're not gonna ban. This is what worries me is like they'll never stop until you cease to exist. Essentially, it's not that you have to go somewhere else and do it over there because we don't like you. It's like no, you can't do it anywhere. We'll chase you around forever until you stop.
It's scary if you ask me, my friend. So if you have one up and coming social media that you would recommend to a friend, who would it be?
Oh man, there are a lot. I do know that that Parler and Rumble are doing pretty well. Those are backed by Dan Bongino, and so I've set up shop over there within the last little bit. BitChute is also doing great for video content, and the only bummer on those places is they're not offering streaming yet.
I noticed
but I'm told it's coming.
Okay, good.
And we've been streaming our show on WxLIVE as a backup for since like spring or summer. We've been on there for like half a year, and WxLIVE seems to function really well too. So
is that
I don't know.
Primarily a gamer platform? Sorry, Matt. Is that primarily a gamer platform or just whatever?
I've seen all kinds of streams over there. There's pretty much everything, and I've gone through a lot of BS on YouTube, not the most of anyone. But I've gone through plenty of BS as you guys are dealing with on Facebook.
Oh, sure.
There's definitely some, I mean, if you watch the stream, there are some spicy things said by some people or our callers sometimes, but I've never had WxLIVE give me any hassle whatsoever. And I've never had any issue with BitChute or with Rumble either. And then Parler, of course, is not a video host, but if you want to talk about things Twitter style, Parler seems to be doing really well.
Very good, very good. Matt Christiansen, everybody. I'm humbled and honored to have you on the program, my friend.
Yes.
I've been a fan of yours since you did the bit on us right after the calamity.
So great, Matt. Thank you for
We've
that.
shared it with our friends 1,000 times. They're tired of watching it, so I got to start sharing some of your new stuff as well.
Sure.
Matt's information is on the YouTube. We will continue to share in time through the Facebook. Look him up, Matt Christiansen, and that's spelled traditionally like Christiansen. That's an E-N at the end, not O-N, correct?
The Danish version. Christian like the religion, S-E-N, and the website is mattchristiansenmedia.com if people want to check it out.
That's it. And part of your brand, brother, is the plaid flannel. I don't know if you can see what I'm wearing. Do you have us up on one of your streams?
I don't have your video, but yeah, the flannel channel for sure. I should just change it to the flannel channel.
The flannel channel, just so you know, when you look at the playback, I did this for you. I've got my best flannel going.
Good. I'm glad to see it. We can take over the world in flannels, or start a new country in flannels based on flannels, something like that. You know,
there it is.
I love it. All right, well, hey man, thank you so much for joining us. You went way above and beyond what you promised us. So that just goes to show you the heart of who this guy is. Look him up, find him. Matt Christiansen, it's an honor to be with you. Thank you for being a part of our program tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and all the best to you guys. Especially during the holidays here. The story, like I said, it was so ridiculous, but it just bums me out the way they attacked a family like that. So all the best to you guys.
Hey, if you want to do a part 2, my friend, I've got plenty of material for you. So just let me know.
Let's talk offline because I'd like to learn some more about some of the things that you mentioned.
That sounds good, my friend. Thank you for being here tonight. And if we don't talk to you sooner, have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Okay, buddy.
Thanks, Matt.
Talk soon. Yeah, bye. All right, there you have it. Friends, that's Matt Christiansen, and I'm happy we were able to get him on both YouTube and also on Facebook. I wasn't sure if that was going to happen on Facebook tonight. Some tomfoolery happening on Facebook. We are trying to get to the bottom of what's been happening on our Facebook feed. But anyway, we're happy that we were able to get up a decent stream and we were able to get Matt on the program. Be sure to look him up. Again, I've got all of his contact information. If you want to go over to the YouTube, check out the YouTube. And then below that, it's got all of his contact information, including his .com and every one of his social media contacts, his email as well. Good dude, though. So, all right.
I knew I liked him, you know?
Well, there you have it, okay? And he's so giving, so generous with his time. Have you noticed that? I noticed that. There's a lot of...
He's a busy guy. That's really nice.
And then we're going to throw our name in there as the no-name podcaster streamer types. But he gives generously to people like us, even though we don't really have much of a place in the world yet. You know what I mean? So I just think that's cool.
Well,
it's very cool.
I certainly agree. What a guy, and just check him out. He does an amazing job.
Yep.
With any story that he's presenting. Ours, of course, was pretty neat watching it from him right after our calamity hit, and
look it up.
Appreciate him.
All right, with that being said, who do we have?
Paula Zach on. Matt is very eloquent in his demeanor. He really is, isn't he, Paula? And yes, I think we're all going to go out and get a flannel shirt.
Well, you should.
Rick's going shopping, he said. I don't know that I have one. I'm going to have to get one now. Jim Perry on here says, great information and interview.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
Again, we're just happy we got the program on.
Yes.
For the second day in a row, we were shut down by Facebook.
We were kind of in a panic about that, but luckily it worked out. We also have Jason on and Karen Dispenza. Isn't he a nice guy? Judah said he's awesome.
Yep.
Kathy Major on, Jean Kern, Carol Reiners, Amy Lee Gates. Good to hear like-minded opinions, she said. You know, and I mean, he does. Lisa Hilton on, Andy Bergio. He makes sense. Doesn't he just make sense?
That's what's like, so refreshing.
Oh, wow. Finally.
Exactly. Someone
that is...
And he covers, and here's the thing, if you guys like kind of the angle that we bring, he does it in a way, because he can do professional vlogs. Now, we haven't dabbled into that, and what he does with his vlogs, it takes quite a bit of skill. And, he puts in, these formats of 10 to 12 minutes each one. But you're talking about just high impact and extremely relevant on stories that are happening right now. So check him out. He usually does a couple per week. Plus the Beauty and the Beta podcast.
Well, and let's quickly thank your sister, Jessica, for lining that up for us tonight. So we appreciate that. We're also trying to, we would like to do more of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Partner up with others that...
Other podcasters, streamers, vloggers, ex-journalists. We love ex-journalists because they get it.
They get it. So we appreciate that, Jessica. Thank you. All right, well, it's 10 o'clock.
It is 10 o'clock. Shall we take some comments, and then we do final forecast, and then we do verse of the day?
All right. Jim Perry says YouTube and Facebook both still on. That's good news. Ro Gualtieri on. Jane 6, she loved it. Kenneth Kenny. And, he made some great points. I'm going to have to watch it again just because he had so many good points.
100%. 100%.
And I agree. I think, you see so many people demanding for others to feel the same way they do. And if they don't, then no use for you. Goodbye.
Yeah,
and
sad.
I think, he brought up a great point on how we should give each other the dignity for conversations, for respect, and that's important right now, and I think that's missing.
And here's the thing, and this is not a knock on Matt, but he does come from an agnostic point of view. And, as a person of faith, what I'm looking for as a bare minimum to my fellow human is a certain standard of principles, moralities, and treatments of other human beings.
Right.
If you fail to do that, you fall in a category that I would consider subhuman. And it seems cruel, but I think there's so many people that are acting with such disregard to fellow humans that I don't think they deserve. They don't. I got to be careful here because the non-Christian me will come out if I'm not careful. Right. But it's worth pondering, and it's worth asking why, and how can we, as Christians especially, be a positive influence on some of these people when they look at you and they read in your bio or they read in your Twitter handle somewhere or whatever the little couple of sentence, the blurb that you get to describe yourself. They get so turned off when they find out that you're a believer in God or Jesus Christ. So how can you reach a person that belittles you, they label you, they slander you, they just want to call you names, they don't want to debate with you? I think it's because they know they can't win. But how do you handle that? How do you influence them in a positive way?
I think you just don't give them what they want, which is a reaction.
Right. And it's hard to do on Twitter and Facebook.
And that is why I don't use Twitter a lot, to be quite honest. I don't like what goes on over there a lot. All right, let's see. Well, guys, Christmas is in a week.
A week.
Are you ready?
I'm not.
Have you gotten me something yet, dude?
Oh, yes.
I'm kidding. I really...
Oh, yes.
I am just grateful to be here with our family, for the record.
Here's your final forecast.
You're off the hook.
Love you, hon. I'll give you a big fat kiss. Ready? Mwah. All right, mostly cloudy, few flurries overnight tonight. 20 degrees in Rochester. Tomorrow's temperature coming in at about 32. Brought to you by Equitech Interactive. Tonight forecast brought to you by Northern Comfort Heating and Cooling. Here's a quick look at your 7-day. We are going a little longer tonight with the guest and all, and also with Facebook really not wanting us to be on tonight. We talked about this earlier. Didn't get to spend a lot of time with it, but looking into the extended. While we have a rain snow chance, it's fine. Sunday, that's really not a big deal whatsoever at all, and it won't accumulate. While we will likely see some snow showers, maybe minor accumulations Tuesday. I am very interested in your Christmas Eve. Thursday's Christmas Eve, and I'm very interested in Friday, particularly for the Northeast. Thursday, Friday, anywhere in the northeastern United States, maybe into the Ohio Valley. It's an interesting forecast. And while we'll be taking some time off going into the weekend, I will likely do special weather updates starting tomorrow, and that'll be focused on what to expect for the Christmas holiday. So I'll have that tomorrow on YouTube. I might try to multi-stream that on Facebook. We'll see if they'll allow me to do it.
We will.
Okay.
And we will try again. And like Matt said, it's good to have alternatives. I know we have gone to Rumble, Parler, just to make sure we have our platform covered in case something happens.
And you know where we're at, and you can also find us on our website. That's capitalweather.com. And so come on over there. Make sure you guys are bookmarking this, because if something happens, you want to keep up with what's going on. It's apparent Facebook is not a guarantee for us. So we'll continue to be on this program or this platform as long as we can.
With reality on that. Okay, I think the Bible verse that has been chosen tonight is quite appropriate.
What do we have?
I mean, it's like I was just on it tonight. Where is it?
I don't know. This is your job.
Where'd it go?
I'm waiting for you.
It's right over here. Why is it not showing?
That's a good question. Let's do this, because we did this last time. We ran into a problem.
Let's turn this off.
And that's a good idea as well.
It's such a beautiful verse, and it definitely has to do, it's appropriate for what we were just talking about. I'm just going to read it. It says, love each other with genuine affection and take delight in honoring each other.
Okay. That's Romans 12:10.
That's Romans 12:10. Can you imagine? I think sometimes we take delight in tearing people down when we should be doing the opposite.
All right, wonderful.
All right.
Guys.
Great night. Very exciting. I'm going to finish my beer and celebrate the weekend with family and loved ones.
Yep.
And I hope you all can do the same.
All right. And Don Lozecki, thank you for all your admin work tonight. Jim Perry, thank you as well. And there you have it. You've got the Rumble information, the Parler information, and you guys know that we're on YouTube, and as long as we're able to be on YouTube and Facebook. So with that being said, it was a good night. Glad we were able to get Matt Christiansen on. Look him up. We will be back with a regular edition on Sunday night. Do look for me for updates to your Christmas forecast starting tomorrow afternoon. All right. With that being said, it was a great night. We just appreciate you guys.
We really do.
Okay.
Can't say that enough.
That's
can
right.
we?
Nope.
We
Stay
really
strong,
can.
my friends. Stay blessed and
stay united.
Talk to you soon.
Mwah. Good night. Have a wonderful weekend.